Hey y'all, Natalie here today, and I have a non-mixed media layout for you. I have this picture of my kid on his bed and then a little interview that I did with him. So I'm filling in gaps in my old scrapbooks. This is from 2020, I believe. And I was going through my notes app on my phone and I found this little interview that I did of him, and I had never documented it. So it's like one of those things where you just ask him questions and see his cute little answers. He was 4. So I printed it off on this cute little card digitally from the Over app, or I think it's called the GoDaddy Studios app now. I don't know. Anyway, I'm using the Paprika collection by Photoplay. It's an older collection, but it's one that I super love. And I'm just going through my papers, and I picked this kind of like more solid, neutral green. I love green, of course. And I am going to use that as like a rectangle across the top, and it's going to house those 2 photos and then that 3x4 card that's from the cut apart sheet in the collection. And I'm going to add a little bit of interest with a border punch here on this orange paper, and then I also have that striped paper. It was a little too much to use by itself as like the main part of the background, but I love the interest that it adds with the stripes. So if you are like me and you just like pop little bits of journaling into your notes app and then maybe forget about them, like I encourage you to go look through your notes and see like, hey, what's a story that was obviously meaningful enough for me to write down, and then I still haven't done anything with it. So I decided that I needed a hot pink border around my page, but I didn't have the proper right color hot pink paper. So I just used some of my acrylic paint and my brayer, and it looked super messy, but all I needed was the little edges pink. And you could do this with ink as well. And it actually is super similar to the ink color that I end up stamping with. So I just trimmed off a couple edges of that background paper, and I'm roughing up the edges to give it the texture that I like. And boom, I framed it in that hot pink, and it's so cute. I love it. So I'm going to trim down the edges of that green paper just to nestle it in between on the background paper so that the white paper shows behind it on either side. And it's going to be a super simple layout here, really. Again, I'm going to do the roughing up of the edges to give it the texture. I do that on everything that I have cut here. And then I'm just going to lay it out. I think about putting them on crooked, and then I decide that I want them straight up and down because it's already a pretty busy layout. So I want to keep them uniform. On that piece that I printed with the interview, it was just like a mask on the background, and I've picked colors that are in this collection. And then I copied and pasted from my notes app. And I turned it white and made sure that you could see all the wording. And I like that as a very interesting way to put the journaling of his little interview. So I'm just committing to this. I'm using my tearaway tape. You can find that at a Cherry on Top, or you can also find that at the Spiegel Mom Scrap store. I know they have that. I end up putting a white border around that middle card just because I have white borders around the other 2 photos. And I think I rough out the edges too to add additional dimension. And then I'm going to use the new stamps that I received for Christmas from the Ellie Studio company. They're the label stamps. So I'm going to combine them in 3 different colors with the You Are My Rainbow stamp set by Jen Scow. I got that a while back, and there's one that says awesome sauce. One of them says You Are My Rainbow, and it's a long one. And so I'm just going to ink it up separately so I can kind of make it fit in this label. And so I just only inked up that portion, then I made sure to clean it really well, and then just ink up the word rainbow separately. So that it doesn't have to be a long stamp. It just can be one that fits inside my label. And I do a couple more, I think an icon and one that's going to be like kind of a triangle that'll stick out the top. And then I also have this citrus twist kit I think it's a creative stamp set. It has this really cute heart that's got little lines on it. And so I stamped that in all 3 of those colors multiple times. And I actually had the perfect little heart die that cut it out really well. And so I used that as like embellishments instead of like jewels or sequins or something on this layout. I actually don't have any sparkle on this layout, which is unusual for me. And that little scripty heart is from the Jen Scow set as well. So I die cut all of those, and I'm just going to place them around. And basically where you see me place them here is where they end up being. I'll move those 2 around up there. But then I will add an additional label down at the bottom. And that label with the heart that I end up adding is also from the Citrus Twist Kit Creative Stamp Set. There I am adding the white border to that. I recently got new 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I'm not happy with it. It's supposed to be white, but it really looks cream to me. Anyway, you can't tell that on here. And probably I'm the only person that can tell looking in my scrapbooks anyway, so. But I add that last little label at the bottom because even though I have the interview there, it doesn't say anything. It does ask his age as one of the questions. So I just wanted to give it a little bit of context that this was an interview with Lachlan, and I put the date that he created, or that we did the interview in. He, he's spoiled rotten, and my friend cleans our house, and she started this thing where she makes his stuffed animals do fun things in his room, and so he always expects it now. So this day she had hung all of his stuffed animals around his bed, from the end and from the side, and it was so funny, and he thinks it's so cool. So I had him sit on the bed, and I took his picture with him, and our little pup is also sitting on his carpet. So it's just a super cute picture, and it's kind of like a random picture, like it's not something that I would typically necessarily document. And so it was really great because it was taken like within a day of him doing this interview. We were probably just sitting on the couch playing around, and I was like, hey, let me ask you a few questions. I haven't done that in a while. This year I did one on their birthday, or this past year I did one on their birthday, but it's just something to get their little point of view randomly throughout the year. So I think we were locked down. It was 2020, so we were bored. So there's all the little hearts. I added them around, and I think that's going to be it. I'm going to pop some links down below if you want to go shopping. There'll be affiliate links. I'd love it if you would use those, and let me know if you have any questions. I love to read your comments, and please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Bye, y'all.